Welcome, universal beings, to Goddess Business Unleashed, the podcast. My name is Sky Hanley, alignment coach and Goddess Business mentor. Hell yeah. I spent far too long trying to fit myself into other people's boxes of what a business should look like until I realized that I needed to align with the fully expressed version of myself. No more hiding. And I realized that there was another way. I stopped playing by other people's rules. I stopped toning myself down to make others comfortable. And I chose courage above all else to expand my own existence. Now, I am a badass spiritual entrepreneur, bringing the best of both worlds to business, strategy that is soul aligned. It's time to be wealthy as fuck. It's time to make impact and income at the same time. And it's time to create the fuck yes life you so deserve. Stop squashing yourself, gorgeous. Play full out in the radiance of your own sparkle. Goddess Business Unleashed, the podcast. Strategy that is soul aligned. Hey, beautiful people. Welcome to this week's podcast, all around the frequency of money. Hell yes. I love this subject, because what I find is working with so many, gorgeous goddess business owners and God business owners out there as well, to be honest with you, is that people can have really mixed reactions when we actually start to talk about, our relationship with money, our vibe around money, the frequency of money, the beliefs we have around money, the bullshit that we're carrying around from, our childhood regarding money. It's really quite fascinating. And everyone is so differing. So what I invite you to do today is to just kind of go on this journey, right? Because every single person who is listening to this is going to have a different relationship, a different history, a different, energetic frequency around the discussion of money. All right. So today is very much an exploration for you, to feel into this. And hopefully along the way, obviously, let go of some bullshit limiting beliefs that are holding you back from making the money that you so desire. All right. So look, if you are new to this podcast, I just want to quickly say, be sure to follow and subscribe so you can stay up to date with all of the amazing podcasts that we're putting out weekly at the moment. I absolutely fucking love this. And if you know anyone else, obviously, another goddess in business or even a god who, could really utilize the amazing magic within this transmission, then be sure to share this so that together we can really raise, the frequency. It's funny, we're talking about frequency already today, right? So that we can raise the frequency of which, we are showing up in business in, all right? Grace, flow, and ease. That is how we want our business life to be. So let's start talking about, money and money as an energetic frequency. All right. Because it is. And this is kind of where the mismatch or the misalignment actually starts to creep up, and some of you are already probably sitting there being like, oh my gosh, my bullshit-o-meter, is already turned up. I'm feeling triggered, getting a little hot around the edges kind of thing, because, maybe you've had a really mixed relationship with money, up until now, right? And now, look, our money mindset can be based on many different things. Okay. So we're just going to talk about some of those right now. Our money mindset, or the frequency in which we journey this life with money in could be based on how many times you're looking at your bank account. Right? Like if you're looking at your bank account, often, and look, we've all been there, right? You go to the petrol station and what is it? The Bowser? I don't even know. You put the thing in from the Bowser, right? And, and you think, oh my gosh, can I fill up with a full tank of petrol today? Or have I only got $20, that'll get me, for the next little while or whatever, right? Like we've all been there, checking our bank account obsessively. And that can actually tell us sort of the relationship and, and the money mindset that we're actually showing up in. All right. Your money mindset could, and the frequency of which you are journeying this lifetime with money, could be based around your relationship with making money. What is your relationship? And obviously, if you're here, you're in business and maybe you've got some sort of hooks still in you, right? Around your relationship with money, and making money, right? Like is making money, hard, or does money come to you freely and easily and in abundant amounts? right? Is making money, you have to slog your guts out and money doesn't grow on trees, like all those different things, is that your relationship to making money? Do you have a love-hate relationship with money? Maybe you love having it, but you hate making it. I don't know. You tell me, right? Your relationship with money or your money mindset could also be based around your relationship with yourself. And what I mean by that is that, a lot of businesses, business owners that I work with can say things like, once I get money, I spend it quickly, right? Or I can't seem to hold money, or, like, who am I to make, $100,000, $200,000, 500, did I say $2,000 or $200,000? That's what I meant. I'm pretty sure I said that. $1 million, right? How deserved do you think you are? Are you so used to your suffering and your struggling and your scarcity that you can't actually see the picture that there is a different way? All right. It could also be based around your beliefs growing up. And this is a big one, right? Like, we learn so much from our childhood, bless our parents, they did the best they could, and that's amazing. And if you're here listening to this, man, you are already a universal, sparkly, awesome being. But the frequency of which you're dealing with money in could just be out of whack. And some of that could be coming from either unconscious beliefs or beliefs, that are actually in your conscious mind, beliefs that you grew up around, And we're actually going to dig into that one a little bit more in a second, okay? So look, your money mindset could be, your beliefs around people who have money. And that's always a really interesting one, I find, because, it's kind of like you watch, cartoons when we were growing up and stuff like that. And who are the evil people? The evil people are always, these billionaires with all of this money and cackling away, sitting in their mansions. Like, think of the Monty Burnses, right? Like, so what is your belief? And actually, it's really funny. I did this one recently myself and I actually caught myself in this. So even I still have little, hooks around, money mindset sometimes. And what happened was that, my partner and I were driving down, the freeway, and we were driving up to this really fast car, and we were like, oh my gosh, what is that? Like, it was, shiny and slick and so fucking low. It was like, like hip height if I was standing outside. Like, you'd have to throw yourself into this car, like throwing yourself on the ground, basically, right? And we were like, what is it? Like trying to look for the cool, sparkly, shiny car. We're like, wow. And, it ended up being, what was it? It wasn't a Maserati. It wasn't it was something like that, right? A McLaren. It was a McLaren. And that's not something you see very often, right? Where, like, is it a Ferrari? Is it a Maserati? Is it, whatever, right? And it turned out to be a McLaren, which might mean nothing to you, right? Just know that it's probably $500,000 of a car, right? And there was this guy, and he was probably 40, 50 years old. And my brain literally went, oh yeah, your midlife crisis car there, buddy. And I actually, no, my mind didn't say that. I said that out loud, because even my partner, he turned around to me and sort of pulled me up on it. And he was like, oh, well, if you've got the money, like, he's like, I would have that if I had the money for that, why wouldn't I? And I was like, that's really interesting, right? Like, our beliefs around people who have money, and I don't think people who have money are evil or, have scammed their way into their millions and their billions or any of those sorts of things, right? I don't actually believe that to be true. I know a lot of, multi 6 and 7 figure business owners, myself in my life. I'm really, excited, uplifted, inspired to run in circles where these people are. And, so I know how amazing they are just as humans and how much they have worked on their money mindsets and all those different bits and pieces. But isn't that a funny little, hiccup or instance where just, driving down the freeway, there's, that picture, that image, of the middle-aged man in his sports car. And my brain, was to judge that, right? My thought process, my belief was, oh my gosh, midlife crisis. But that might be his third car like that, right? He might have, 2 others in the garage because he's got the money to blow on it. Why not, right? He could do amazing things for charity. I don't know him. Who am I to judge? But we have these moments, right? And it is our job to start pulling ourselves up and catch it when we're happening. Because I believe we live in an abundant universe. So I can choose to change my mind when I see something like that. I can go, good job, that guy. Like, well done. Like, I wonder what amazing things he's up to be able to invite that level of abundance into his life. And isn't that such a better frequency to come at that situation from than this weird, accidental, almost bitter judgment, right? Like, who am I to judge that? Alrighty. So interesting, isn't it? Interesting. So our money mindset, can also be based around, how we self-soothe. And what I mean by that is that, perhaps, you get tired or upset or bored or any of those sorts of things. And perhaps you don't make your way to the fridge, maybe, you go online shopping, right? And maybe that makes you feel good. And so you spend something, you might maybe buy a piece of clothing or something, for home, or perhaps if you've got children, maybe you hide behind buying something for the kids, but really what you're doing is actually self-soothing yourself, and what I think is really important, is that let me sidetrack for a second here, and let's just talk about bank accounts. I mean, we talked about bank accounts a little bit before, but, I actually have a bank account. All my bank accounts have names, all right? All of them, you know how you can call your bank accounts with nicknames? I code the fuck out of my bank accounts, right? Because I want the amazing, high frequency energetics of money landing in there, being used for good, being a transmission of, the amount of people that I get to serve and all of those amazing things. And so my, my personal pay account, I suppose, where I transfer, my own, money across out of my company to, is called the Queendom's Wealth, because I want to build my Queendom's wealth. All right. And so I know if I was maybe going to that place to utilize that money, my big savings account, the Queendom's Wealth, which I'm trying to, or I'm building rather, I shouldn't say trying is such a pass off kind of a word. Fuck trying, right? I am building the Queendom's Wealth, full stop, right? And so, it really makes such a difference when I'm looking at that account and thinking, oh, do I want to steal from the treasury? Am I going to steal from the Queendom's Wealth? Like, no, do I really need, or want this thing? Like, will this bring, energetic alignment into my life? And it's not to say, don't buy nice things. I often celebrate in buying myself nice things. I used to be quite poor at, not poor, but poor at celebrating moments in business. It is so important that we celebrate, whether it's $500 landing in your account, $1,000, $50,000, I don't care, right? You need to celebrate that. But sometimes we get so caught up in, the busyness or the next thing or the striving, or is this just me, right? Like, like I said, I have to actively participate in my own, celebration, to stop for a minute and, and not in a wanker way, but to pat myself on the back and say, fuck yes, right? Like, oh my gosh, like you just did that. That's awesome. Like, how can I celebrate? How can I reward myself? So I'm not saying don't reward yourself. It's just if, that is positive energy, rewarding yourself for a job well done. Don't confuse that with self-soothing, all right, through purchasing something to make yourself feel better because, your frequency, your energetics are low, all right? There are other ways that we can lift you up and step you into a more high vibe life than, blowing some dollars every single week and not being able to hold your Queendom's wealth, all righty? And just for the record, because we're talking about this, because I actually think this is a really important piece. If you haven't, named or nicknamed all of your bank accounts, I suggest you go and do it. Maybe not now, after this. All right, after this podcast, go and rename all of your bank accounts. Right. So my business banking is called I Love Money and Money Loves Me. Right. I love money and money loves me. I love money and money loves me. It's like my little happy dance for money landing in my main business account. My big savings, personal stuff, as I said, is called the Queendom's Wealth. I have my business like tax and business banking account, right? Business, tax and GST and everything that gets kind of shipped across for, that sort of juiciness. That account is called I'm So Lucky I Pay Tax. I'm so lucky I pay tax, right? I'm fucking coding, my life with this high energy. So if you've ever sat there and been like, oh yeah, got to pay my fucking tax or the GST or another fucking bill or blah, blah, like, I don't want to sit in that energy. How fucking lucky am I that I get to pay tax? I get to pay tax because I get to make money, So code everything in your life so that, if you are opening your bank accounts and you're having a bit of a look, it's coded with the amazing, abundant magic of, I love money and money loves me. Queendom's Wealth, watching the Queendom's Wealth build. And we also have another account, my partner and I together, that is I can't remember what it's called right now, to be honest with you. I should have had a look, right? I can't remember what it's called, but it's like the splurge account or the blow account or, something along those lines, right? Which is our account that we hold together, which every single week. And again, it doesn't matter where you are in business, what dollars that you are making right now. I want you to create this account where you put, it doesn't matter if it's $20 a week or $50 a week or $200 a week or, wherever you land. All right. But have a splurge account, have an account that you are building, just to fucking blow. All right. Just to blow it, so that we have that account so that we can see it grow, so that we know that there is holiday money always sitting there. We know that there is activities money, that it is fun and it's love and it's connection. And we put that amazing level of energy into it, so that if something comes up and we're like, do we want to do this? Like, yeah, we do. And we know we are safe to, because we have that net that has been collecting there that is literally for our fun, joy, play, and pleasure. All right. And you can call it that if you want. Fun, joy, play, pleasure. That would be an amazing name for that account. And just let it grow, and when you want to use it, right? But this is how you start coding your life to have, high frequency money, entering your existence, flowing to you freely and easily and in abundant amounts. And I'm going to keep saying that as well, because, I have a few money mantras, I suppose you would call them, right? That again, I code everywhere, right? Above me right now, I'm sitting at my amazing work desk in my beautiful office. I love surrounding myself with beautiful things because again, it makes me feel abundant, like in my lovely clean space with plants around me and, all the rest of it. And above me, right? Above my calendar, say the words, money comes to me freely and easily and in abundant amounts. Money comes to me freely and easily and in abundant amounts. I have another mantra sitting next to that says, what would $1 million sky do? What would $1 million sky do? So if ever I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh gosh, should I make this decision? Should I do that? Do I want to slack off? Or, do I want to keep persevering? All those different things. I have this sign sitting there that says, what would $1 million sky do? Well, $1 million sky would fucking show up, right? And to be honest with you, look, I'm not money centric. I'm really not, but money is energy. Money is a transmission. Money is frequency. Money is, money is amazing, right? Like we don't have to have this poor money mindset or low vibe, low frequency or BS stories again, which we're going to talk about in a second, and hold on to those beliefs. We are allowed to make impact and income at the same time. So I am somebody who is mission centric. And what that means is I want to touch the lives of so many fucking people through, ways like this, right? Where you can connect in with me for free and you can get some of my, my thoughts and my energy and inspiration, hopefully as well, obviously around these areas so that you can let go and in letting go of anything that's limiting you and holding you back, you can obviously then up level your existence, up level your life. That is my desire. But I am also allowed to make impact and income at the same time to serve the things in my life that I want to do and achieve, right? And for me, money as well means that I can give back time. And to me, time is my greatest commodity. So we always ensure that we volunteer our time. We drive gorgeous oldies around in buses for, weekend activities. My partner and I used to be in, blah, blah, blah. My partner's in the RFS, which is Rural Fire Service. I used to be in, I can't even think of the name, St. John's Ambulance. There you go. Because we love being able to give of our time freely because to us, that is abundance. All right. Because time is my greatest commodity, not money, but I'm allowed to enjoy money and the life that it provides as well. Right. And so are you. So look, they're the different things that your money mindset could be based around. And what I want to do now is just almost have a bit of a clearing, right? And I want to know what your beliefs around money are, right? How is your relationship to it? What does it bring up for you? Does it feel heavy? Does it feel like you're coming from a place of scarcity? And look, if we were in a workshop, I'd be like, write it down, call it out, tell me, about it. And literally, honestly, give voice to it. So I don't care if you're listening to me sitting in the car, going on a run, or sitting at home. Put some voice to what your relationship with money is. All right. Let me give some examples. Money doesn't grow on trees. Did you hear that growing up? Money doesn't grow on trees. Did you used to watch your parents fight and argue about money? Maybe, you would go shopping with your mum and she would say to you, don't tell your father we bought this, and sort of giggle like it's a little secret. So you grew up believing that money is this thing that we need to, hide and be secretive about. And actually, in my own story, right, it's funny to this very day, like my family doesn't necessarily talk about money, my mom and my grandma or my dad or, whomever, right, my brother, myself. And it's so funny. It's really interesting because, that's kind of how we grew up. Like I know that everyone is comfortable and everyone is safe and everyone has roofs over their head, but I don't really know what they're earning or the avenues and opportunities they're leaning into or where their energy around money is sitting, because it's not discussed, right? So again, even in my own existence, I don't know that I was brought up being taught this as in directly, but the indirect lesson that I learned was, oh my gosh, like we don't talk about money. That's not something you talk about. Like how very old school. I know my mom learned that from my grandma. It's very hush hush. Like, you don't talk about those sorts of things, right? And to me, it's like, no, like let's talk about it. We're in business. Like it's important. We need to have these conversations, and we don't want to have these sort of trigger points. So what is it for you? What did you grow up learning? What did you see, and to be honest with you, look, again, I always believe in the universe. And if the universe puts something, here for me a few times, right, then I always end up, teaching on it or bringing it up or whatever it might be. And so let me tell you, a little tidbit. Is that a thing? Sure, why not? Around this, right, is that, I'm actually right now involved in a money mindset NLP course. So that's really exciting. Money course. Did I say course? I'm not sure if that word came out right. Okay. Also, I then taught on this exact transmission in one of my VIP programs, which was really exciting. And then I'm in another, group where we then had a session where an amazing human, I believe her name was Emma Baker, came in, and she was sort of speaking about this. And she said that, her father actually was a bit suicidal at one point, or another, right? And it was because he was so stressed out about money. So she had learned that, money equals stress, and it even can equal, near suicide. Like how big is that as a journey, as a belief in and around money, and how important it is to be able to shake that kind of a, belief, how damaging that could be otherwise. So have a think about it. Do you have like a love-hate relationship? Does it come to you and you get rid of it really quickly? Do you have this belief that you can't save money? I had that one for a very long time. Again, why I have the Queendom's Wealth, right? It is my own stand for high vibe money, because for so long I just thought, oh gosh, I'm really good at making money, but I'm not very good at holding on to money. Now I do both. I make money and I ensure I hold on to money, and I also still get to spend a little bit of money too, right? Like it's a give, receive cycle. And if you have issues maybe around sales, and again, I don't want to sit in this heaviness, because maybe you're sitting there going, ugh, like, bleh, this is the worst. Why are we talking about this? This feels so heavy and yuck and whatever it might be. I get that, right? But we don't want to sit in the heaviness for too long, but it's so important that we bring these things to the forefront, right? And we recognize, what is coming up for us all as individuals around, money and money mindset, because we want to change the frequency. All right. Now, what I want you to do, all right, let's shake some of that off. Okay. And what I want you to do is understand, that money is actually an energy. All right. Money is actually frequency. And that's what I was saying before, actually. If you've got, some hangups around sales, like sales feels a bit icky or it doesn't feel aligned or, you feel like you're scamming someone, or, maybe you make apologies in your sales process because you go, oh, I know it's really expensive, but like you get really good value. You kind of go into convince mode with your clients or something, or you almost, you're sweating coming up to the point where you have to tell somebody the price of your product, right? That again, that shows us that there's some money mindset stuff going on there, right? The way that I look at sales is, like how fucking honored I am to be able to serve my tribe in a way that is, valuable to them, right? And I also look at it from the perspective of, that my tribe has a problem that I have a solution for. How awesome is that? Right? So I'm allowed to make impact and income at the same time. And who am I to not tell them about this amazing solution that I have that is available to them, that is exciting, that I get to, that I have the potential to be able to help them, elevate in whatever way that, whatever that looks like for them in their business. How awesome is that? Who would I be to hide that from them? And again, that's a mission centric view, right? If I am me centric, as in, me centric, self centric, right? It means that I'm looking at the world from a me perspective. And sometimes, again, if we're talking about sales, it could be coming from a me centric place. If you get a little bit sweaty, or you have some triggers around selling to people, or you don't like it, and maybe you don't like being sold to, or whatever, right? Then sometimes what that's coming from is that me-centric perspective, because you're like, oh my God, what are they going to think about me? Or this is too expensive, or, what if they say no, or all those different things. It's you-centric, right? Because you're too focused on yourself to see the bigger picture. Now you have two options there. You can go other person centric, all right? Like if you find sales to be this sweaty, and hopefully we're going to break some of that down in a second and get rid of these limiting beliefs. But, I just want to touch on this sales piece for a second, right? But if you take it out of me-centric, worrying about yourself and what you might look like, and if the person says no and what that might mean to you, and oh my gosh, I'm not enough, and all the fucking stories that we get trapped in, right? Like, or have the potential to get trapped in, right? If you take it to other person-centric, what that means is you're looking at them and going, oh my gosh, you're amazing and you have this problem and I can help you and that's so fantastic. And who am I to hold this information back from you? As well as one that I always find funny, and this is my own little trigger, right? I swear is, I can walk into shops sometimes and I look like I'm probably going to rob the place or something, like I'm in baggy clothes, zero fucks given kind of mode, just heading in, to, let's pretend like David Jones or something like that. Or often, I might go shopping, I'll look very casual, and I could go to a place like Review, okay? And Review, is a brand that I like. They sell some really beautiful dresses that suit my body shape, all those kinds of things. And so maybe I'm going in because I need a really nice dress for something or whatever. And I head into Review, and luckily, lucky they know me, right, in there. But, I remember the first few times going to places like that and, to buy whatever it might be that I'm after, and feeling really judged because I knew that I didn't quite look the part, right? And I always thought in my head, like, it's almost like that pretty girl moment, right? Like I'm sitting here, I'm feeling judged. I don't think it's my own projection. I know they're not really giving me the time that they might be giving. They're sort of, not sort of smiles on their face, like they're just assuming I'm wasting their time or something. I'm pretty sure that wasn't, entirely, as I said, me projecting. But I felt a bit like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, right? Like I'm here to buy the thing. Like I want to buy the fucking thing, right? Like, so be sure that even in your own sales process that you're not, messying up, that is my very technical term for today, that you're not messying up your own sales process by looking at a person and assuming what something is worth to them, right? And what I mean by that is if you're making apologies or saying, look, I know it's really expensive, but really it's only X amount of coffees per week or something along those lines, that's your money story, not theirs. So don't portray your money mindset, your money story. Oh gosh, this is expensive. That just shows, that perhaps you don't have money at this moment. It doesn't say what that person is highly prioritizing. It doesn't say what that person has in their bank account or what they're willing to spend on something maybe nice or. All right. So if you catch yourself, having a few of those things come up, I just want you to understand that actually says, and I say this with love, right? It says more about you than it does them. Don't pretty woman people. Okay. And again, that's probably one of my own little triggers in there. All right. So other people centric means you're not going to sit there and judge them and assume that, maybe they don't have the money because you feel like you don't have the money right now. And again, that's another limiting belief we're going to bust up in a second. And that's great. Be other person centric. Take the pressure pressure off yourself. It is not about you. The sales process is not about you. It is about the other person. All right. It is about an energy exchange. They have a problem. You have a solution for it. And who are you to judge anything other than that? Right. Or in the sales process, you can be mission centric. And I say, look, I am people, I am other person centric. I love serving others, absolutely. But I am also mission centric. And what that means is I'm a big fucking visionary, right? Like I have, the big ideas. I want to, touch a certain amount of lives. I don't care if people know my name or not, believe it or not, for the extrovert that I am, and let me give an example. Is that I did meal plans, and nutritional lifestyle support content for the fitness industry for a long time. I would sell to the business. That means, a trainer or the business owner, they would know me, but then they would white label, or I would white label, which means that I would brand it as if that their business created the content. So I would create content and somebody else would get to take credit for it, right? That is ripple effect to me. I am so touched by the idea that there are people out there who have my meal plans, who have my body love, like lifestyle content or whatever it might be, that don't even know my name. It doesn't worry me. It's mission centric. I want to touch lives. I want that ripple effect. I don't necessarily need the notoriety that goes with it. All right. Mission centric means the bigger picture stuff. So if I'm sitting there and if I was to do this, right, and maybe this comes up for you, gosh, I don't really know. Maybe I shouldn't do this live video today, or I'm feeling a bit, like not confident, or whatever it is that could be coming up for you. Then sit in other person or sit in mission centric, because you're too trapped in your own head. All right. With love, you're thinking about yourself. You're you centric, going, what am I going to look like? People are going to judge me. I'm not confident. This is making me nervous. What if I stuff up? That it's because you're sitting in yourself. Like, fuck that. Sit in other person centric. Whose life can I touch today? Who am I to hold this information back? Because I'm feeling a little nervous or something like that. Right. Or mission centric. Maybe you have a big picture. Maybe you want to touch the lives of your family. Maybe you want to help your children. Maybe you want to buy a house for your parents. Maybe you want to, travel the world and experience amazing things. Maybe you want to have an awesome ripple effect with a whole bunch of people who've never known your name either. Maybe you have big picture visionary codes active for you as well, right? And when you sit there and you're like, oh gosh, should I make this video? Like, if you're sitting in other person centric or mission centric, trust me, you'll make the fucking video. All right. Does that make sense? So look, you can utilize that in so many different ways in your business, and obviously it's going to help you make the money and also get over, your fear of selling as well. And look, if you do still have the fear of selling because you feel like your process is a bit jagged and, you need some help around that, totally fine. Reach out. I absolutely love systems, as well as obviously the energy that comes around those systems too. All right. So look, we're going to do a quick little activity just to round it up today. What I want you to do is wherever you are sitting, I just want you to look around, and this is an amazing activity. As I said, I want to give credit where credit is due for the pieces, that I've been able to be inspired by others. This is what, Emma Baker made us do in this awesome collective that I'm in. All right. Anyway, she just sort of said, look around you, and I think I have, an amazing relationship with money already, but it was interesting to look around, and I want you to do this right now too. So look around exactly where you are. All right. So I am now sitting in, to be honest with you, a dining chair because I find it more comfortable. All right. I'm sitting in a dining chair and I'm sitting in my office. And as I said, I love a really beautiful environment. That doesn't mean it needs to be this expensive environment, whatever that means to you. Right. But it's beautiful. Right. Like, I love, there's some rose gold, stationery things. I've got, don't judge me, I'm a nerd. I've got a gaming, keyboard, which is lighting up in rainbow colors. I'm sitting here, at my podcast microphone. I've got beautiful flowers next to me. I've got an awesome diary. There's, some candles around and things like that. There's some paintings on the wall, a big, beautiful bookshelf, that I bought, because I loved it so much. I wanted to house my, gorgeous book collection in that. Like, there is so much. The clothes that I am wearing, right? Put dollar signs on all of that. Where are you? Have a look around your environment. And I want you to do this, right? Like don't BS me, do this activity. If you're in the car, do it in the car. What is your car worth? What are the clothes on your back that you're, wearing? Do you have your handbag next to you or your wallet or something like that? And I don't care if there is money in it or not, right? But that wallet cost you something to purchase it. All right. If you're at home, what's around you? Even if you're at your home, there's a roof over your head, right? Whether you have a mortgage, whether you've paid your house off, whether you're renting, whether you live in somebody else's home, that house cost money and you are, enjoying the benefits of the energy of that money. Like, look at it. It's everywhere. We think we live in this scarce environment or there's never any money. It's because, you're holding money to this, this standard that is, that money only exists if it's in your wallet or your bank account. Bullshit, right? Money is everywhere, and how lucky are we? Do you have a full belly right now? Do you? Because that's money. What did you eat? Was it delicious? Was it healthy? Was it nutritious? Change the frequency of which you are looking at money, with, right? Because money is actually everywhere. Can you feel that? It is totally different coming from this place, and having this understanding of give, receive cycle, right? And we think that does the money just end when we hand over, when we pay for something? Did the money end when I paid for this podcast microphone that I'm talking to you, through right now? No, it's right there. There it is. It's this manifestation of this solid material in front of me that I'm using, that I'm still using, that I've used, a million times over, right? That is the frequency of money. That is the energy that we should be coming at it, from. And also having the certainty that, what I've found in my lifetime is that, money is so fluid and it's always there when I need it. It's always there, right? And it might come to me and it might go away, but again, that's awesome, right? If you've got a roof over your head, if you've got a full belly, if you are clothed right now, if you are in a safe environment, if you've got stuff, I don't care what stuff you've got around you, whether it's books, whether it's, a wardrobe full of clothing, whether you're sitting in your bed, I was doing that earlier as well. I was like, this blanket, this is a king size blanket, with a king size cover on it. Like that cost money, right? The lamp, the bedside table, the bed that I was on, I saw some essential oils next to me. I was like, they cost money. When does the energy end? And does it? So you might believe, or previously you might have believed that, oh my gosh, that money isn't there, or it's not fluid, or I can't make money, or I never have money, money's not around me, or scarcity. Bullshit. I call bullshit on that. Money is everywhere, right? And so you need to start changing your relationship with money. All right. Sit in the certainty, knowing that you deserve the money that you so desire, because you do. Because why the fuck not you, right? Why the fuck not you, right? It's all about changing your relationship with money. And as I said, look, I do plenty of things, to ensure that when I come at money, right? Like I'm coming at it from a high vibing place. So again, I said, I'm a visionary myself. And what that means to me is that, I am so grateful for what I have. Let me make that perfectly clear. I'm so, so, so grateful in the abundance that I have a safe roof over my head, that I have clothes on my back, that I have delicious food in my belly, all those different things, right? That I am surrounded by things that I love, colors and scents and, all photos, even just all sorts of different things, right? Like I'm so fucking abundant, but so are you, right? Not but and so are you. There is no difference between you and I, all right? The difference, if anything, is simply, I believe I live in an abundant universe and I see the abundance around me all the time. And I don't hold, my worth as a human being on this planet to the dollar that is in my wallet or the dollar that is in my bank account. All right. Because if I was doing that, yeah, maybe on the odd occasion I'd feel like I was in scarcity. But if I code my universe, my life, everything that's around me with high vibe money codes, then how awesome is that? that I get to come at life from, a perspective where money comes to me freely and easily and in abundant amounts. What would $1 million Sky do, right? I love money and money loves me. I love money and money loves me. Doing little happy dances like that when money lands in bank accounts, celebrating the abundance, but also celebrating the flow. I celebrate when money leaves as well. How lucky I am to pay for this thing. Why not? Right? Give, receive, channel, open. And I also believe that the more money the more me I am, the more money I make. The more me I am, the more money I make. The more me I am, the more money I make. All right. And you can say that little mantra in your head, or the more fun I have, the more money I make. The more fun I have, the more money I make. The more me I am, the more money I make. All right. And it might sound weird, but this is the difference, right? $1 million Sky, trust me, she is doing these happy dances, absolutely. And that's the difference, between, my crap perspective of the man driving up the freeway and going, oh my gosh, what a midlife crisis that is. Ugh, negative, judgmental, like crap, that was awful, versus being like, wow, I wonder what amazing things that guy does, to invite that into his life. What abundance. That's awesome, fantastic. Why isn't he deserving? But also, why aren't I? And there is no reason why I'm not deserving, right? And the same for you as well. So look, I invite you to do some of those things. Put affirmations everywhere. Change the name of your bank accounts. Do happy dances when money lands with you, and actually sit there in the gratitude of how abundant your universe, right? Your life actually is. Roof over your head, beautiful flowers around you, feel the carpet under your feet, feel the car. If you're, sitting in the car, again, you're probably listening to this on your phone right now in a pair of headsets. Like, all of that is money. You are abundant. All right. Start believing it. Actually, and one more thing, because I was talking about visionary codes, right? The other thing that I do, I am in full gratitude for everything that I have now, but I also play in a land where all things are possible. And so, even this morning, it's so funny. I was sitting there this morning, looking up my next car, and I'm not about to buy a car right this second. And that's cool, but I'm a visionary, which means I put, I see the end picture, the vision, and I reverse engineer the plan. All right. That's what being a visionary means to me. I see the picture in my head, I see our next house. I see, my partner and I in this beautiful white bedroom overlooking the ocean. I see, our adopted children, coming in the door and jumping into bed with us. I see it. Right. And I do things to help double down on that belief. And I know, right? I know that it is a done deal because I play in a universe where all things are possible. So I will sit there and I will go car shopping online to see the vision, right? To help embed it even further. And it doesn't mean that I'm not grateful for everything that I have right now. I absolutely am, but I also get to play in that abundant land. And what does that mean? And what would that look like? What else can I invite in? What can I work towards? How would that feel if I embodied that emotion, that feeling, that energy now, right? Feels fucking awesome. So that's maybe another little piece of homework for you, right? And I teach this in my business, business mentoring. It's like, see the vision. Manifestation equals vision plus big motherfucking action. All right. See the vision and then take the big steps that are going to get you there. That is how we manifest in this life. That is what it means to be a visionary. Love you guys. Thank you, amazing universal being, for listening to this podcast today. I trust that you received the gold you needed to hear right now to help move you forward in business and in life. Remember, everything is a mirror, and you either live in a chaotic universe or an abundant one. The choice is actually yours. If you have loved this podcast, be sure to hit the subscribe button and then share this magic transmission with a friend or loved one, another goddess who is in business and in need of a dose of strategy that is soul aligned. Now, if you want to continue the conversation, there are actually a few places you can go. Head over to our YouTube channel, Business Unleashed, and hit subscribe. Befriend me on Facebook, Sky Hanley. I love making new friends, so please reach out. And we have an amazing and impactful Facebook community group called Soul Empire Unleashed for all things woo-woo and business. Goddess Business Unleashed, the podcast. Strategy that is soul aligned.